Hey everyone, InKensify, and today we will be doing Rate the S-Craft for Kuronoki Seki. So I know this is super overdue. I really wanted to get my playthrough uploaded onto my channel first. I originally finished the game around late January, but I didn't finish uploading the series onto my channel until about basically the end of February, and then after that I kind of just hit a little burnout period, so better late than never, right? Especially with Kuro 2 just a couple months away. But anyway, let's get started. So how we're going to do this, we're going to go through this starting with the protagonists, and then we're going to do the guests, and then last but not least we're going to go through the antagonists. So there isn't that many compared to the previous games, but there's still quite a handful we can at least look through, so let's get started. So for the first S-Craft you see in the game, I'd say it's very baseline. So I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. And I'm not giving it a 5 because I think his 1.0 version of his S-Craft deserves like a 5. Because it's definitely missing some frames and it makes it look extra boring. So when they updated it with the 60 FPS patch, it definitely looks a lot better. That's why I'm giving it a 6. Now for the Grendel's S-Craft, I would probably give that a 7. It's definitely better than Vaughn's S-Craft himself. And also the benefit of doing his S-Craft also is that he does a ton of hits. And as you can see in the top right, there's a damage bonus, so it has some innate damage amplifiers to it. And just like Vaughn, I'm going to give hers a 6 out of 10. Her 1.0 version was definitely lacking as well, so that her 1.0 version would get a 5 out of 10. And that's the only reason I'm giving hers a 6. So now for Fairy's S-Craft, I think I'll give hers a 7.5. I really like the transition from going to gun to sword and then immediately diving into the enemy. I think that's really cool looking. So yeah, 7.5. Now for his S-Craft, I think it looks really damn cool and it's shot incredibly well, and I just love using it. Like the shot where he points the sword at you with fire wings popping out from beside him, and then once he charges you can kind of just see his facial expression. That's just so cool. They really did a really good job with him. So I'll give Aaron's a 10 out of 10. I think I'm good with that. Now Rosetta is another one I'm a huge fan of. I love how she's just jumping across all the pillars while shooting her gun and then going for the big dive bomb finish right at the end. It's very satisfying to use and watch every time. So I would probably give hers a 9 out of 10. I still really like Aaron, so I'm gonna give hers a 9 out of 10. Now for Quattra's S-Craft, I really didn't remember what it looked like, mainly because I hardly ever used it within my playthrough. And seeing it now, I would probably give it a 6 out of 10. He really doesn't do much. He just jumps on his dog and then just goes for a giant lance attack at the end. So yeah, 6 out of 10. So every time I see Judas S-Craft, it just leaves me wanting more. More than just, you know, the rope jump in through the window. Would have liked at least a tiny bit more. But overall, I think it really looks nice. I like the build up to it, but I just wanted a little bit more. So I'm gonna give that a 8 out of 10. Now, Burgers is another one where I only saw it maybe like 2 or 3 times throughout my playthrough. So when I look at it now, it's pretty underwhelming still. I think the only good part about it was when he did his last big hit and it turns into a flurry of hits. But before that, it wasn't. It was kind of boring. So I think I'll end up putting Burgers at 6 out of 10. So now that we're going to take a look through all the guest S-Craft, I do want to warn you guys we are going to be entering spoilery territory, so continue at your own discretion. You have been warned. So let's get started. Now for Elaine's, it's another one. I think she's in a very similar situation as with Judith. Once you use it, it kind of just leaves you wanting a little bit more. I think I would give hers an 8.5. So for Feast, that one's easy. 10 out of 10 all the way. Looks great, fun to use, shot really well. And, fun fact, her S-Craft is inspired by a combination of Reen's Gale and Laura's Radiant Phoenix Blade. And I really love Risha's, but it just feels way too short. I just want a little bit more. Just a little bit more out of it. I love how it starts. I love how it animates. It looks really cool. I like how it finishes, but it just ends too soon. I want just a little bit more out of it. Just a little bit. With that being said, as much as I want to give a biased 10 out of 10, I will say a 9.5 out of 10. Because I just want that 0.5, I just want a little more. Just a little bit. Now, as much as I love using Shizuna, I think she's super fun. Her crafts look great. However, as far as her S-Craft is concerned, I would probably give hers a 7 out of 10. Reason being, I think in my opinion, it's just a far more cinematic version of Rain's Autumn Leaf Cutter. Like, I think the start of it looks great, but it ends up just being like one big slash in the end. Like, I think the beginning before she goes into the big slash at the end looks great. Now, I think one thing that saves her S-craft is the big explosion of dust, like after she finishes her craft, because it provides a good example of how ferocious her attack was. So if it didn't have that, I'd probably put it at like a 6.5 out of 10, but the dust part at the end kind of saves it, so I'm gonna give hers a 7 out of 10. Now I'm doing it this way because it's easier for me to trigger it, because I don't really want to rely on RNG. Now for Zin's, it's shot pretty well. The build-up is good, but I think it falls in the same category as Shizuna. It's just one big hit in the end. So I'm going to give his a 7.5. Now for Waltzers, it's another one where I feel like it ends too soon, and I kind of just want a little bit more out of it. I think it starts really good, but it just ends too soon. That being said, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. Now for Viola's, I think it's pretty nice how she goes and shoots a bunch of bullets and how it just turns into just one in the end and then just goes to hit you. I think that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna give hers a 7.5 out of 10. I think his is very meh. He just goes full power with his fist and then charges straight at you, and that's it. So 5.5 out of 10. Now, among the antagonists of the game, I think hers is probably my favorite to look at. I like how she just creates a bunch of duplicates of Ishtanti and they all charge straight at you. And then they go back in the sky and then just fire a giant beam. I think that looks really dope. So that being said, I think I'll give Olympia's a 10 out of 10. I'm pretty satisfied with that. Now for his, I would have loved to see him go berserk a little bit more, but overall I think it looks pretty good. I love how it ends with this giant crater that he's created, and then he just throws his halberd at you for a giant explosion. Pretty cool. I'll give his an 8.5 out of 10. Now Melchior's is another one I really enjoy. I really like how you see his facial expression in the beginning before it absolutely begins to slaughter you. Now if you look closely when he throws out the bomb field, you can notice how your party members' facial expressions change a little bit regarding it. And then I really like how when he begins slashing you, he's giant, you just gush blood. And then when he detonates all the bombs and stuff, you know, you see his pure satisfaction. So overall, I think it's really good. So 10 out of 10. Good job. Now for Dante's, it's definitely not as brutal as the Melchior's, but it's definitely a lot more to the freaky department with all the eyes once he summons them. And I do like how you can see him laughing before you see the giant explosion with him just in front of it. That's pretty neat. So I would probably give it a 8.5 out of 10. So unfortunately in Kuro, the protagonists don't learn a second S-craft, so hopefully in the sequel that changes. Since there wasn't too many characters to kind of look through, I kind of wanted to show you guys some of my favorite looking crafts, because I know there's a lot that look super cool in this game. I just want to kind of just share them with you guys. And one of the characters that I'm a huge fan of has the best looking crafts in the game, at least among the protagonists, is Aaron. I just love using all his S-crafts. They're just so satisfying to use. And all the guests have great looking crafts. They really do. Like for example, for Fee, for one of them, where at the end she just blows her gun after just going ham on an enemy. That's really dope. Nice little touch at the end. And what I like about Shizuna is that she gives us at least a little glimpse as to potentially what 8 Leaves users could look like under the new engine. Because her crafts look pretty sweet. Very satisfying to use also. And lastly, I'll just go over Orisha. And what I like about hers is that when she goes for her throw, compared to like the previous games, there's actually build up to it, right? She's getting ready to just swing it like a boomerang. It's a nice little touch. And her big area attack is also very satisfying and cool to look at as well. So, pretty awesome. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. That's it for this video. So I'm interested to know what you guys thought was the best and or worst looking S-craft in this game. So let me know down in the comments below. So that being said, we're getting pretty close to 1,000 subscribers. So please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. That would be greatly appreciated. And also links to my Twitch, Twitter, and Discord down in the description below. I do stream pretty regularly, so I would love to have more people join the fam. So once again, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon.